Hello and welcome to Jackson's Job. This is the place where things can and often go wrong while baking. You'll see how to fix recipes when they go upside down and how to avoid those common mistakes. Let's learn how to bake lime macarons. Here are the ingredients you'll need if you want to follow along. The first thing you're going to need is a scale. You really want to weigh all your ingredients. The next thing you want is a silicone mat or parchment paper. Silicone mats are wonderful, as I've said before, but there are limitations. Some are better than others, some can stick, and if you live in a humid environment, they can take forever to dry. A good option is to put some parchment paper over top of the silicone mat so you still get the pattern and you still get the benefits of the insulation. The first thing you want to do is prepare your piping bag. I recommend a number 12 piping tip that's 7 millimeters or about 1/4 of an inch. And I like to use a 16-inch pastry bag, which is about 40 centimeters. Cut off the tip of the bag, insert the piping tip, give it a couple twists and tuck it in, and that'll help lock it in place. And then using a cup, I like to put the whole bag inside the cup. That just helps you pour the batter in later. Next, you want to wash and dry a lime. Holding it by the points, you want to grate it until you get at least 1 teaspoon's worth of lemon zest. I like to use a juicer, but you can also squeeze this by hand. Let's set this aside, and then we're going to separate 2 eggs. I like to use 2 large eggs because you're going to need 60 grams total in egg whites. For your ingredients, you're going to need 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar, 100 grams, and 1/2 cup of ground almonds, 50 grams. The more you sift it, the shinier your shells are going to be. Once you are done sifting your ingredients, then you're going to go on to beating your egg whites. In a large bowl, we're going to whip up those 2 large egg whites, 60 grams from earlier. We're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of that lime juice, 2.5 milliliters, and then 1/8 of a cup of granulated sugar. That's 2 tablespoons or 30 grams of granulated sugar. You want to mix this on medium until you get a soft peak like this. You should be able to flip the bowl upside down and the egg whites will stay. Next, if you want to add in some food coloring, add in about 1/8 of a teaspoon of gel food coloring. I do not recommend using the liquid because it doesn't tend to have a really good color to it and it can break your egg whites. Mix this in until it's well combined, but don't overmix it. You still want to have soft peaks in the end. Now we're going to add in our almond and powdered sugar mixture from earlier, and we're going to just fold around the outside and through the middle. Do this gently, and every once in a while you might want to scrape off your spatula if it has excess amount of batter. It just makes it easier to incorporate. At first it won't feel like it's going to ever combine, but just keep working on it and it eventually will get there. You're looking for the batter to change to a nice glossy texture, all of the mixture to be cohesive, and the batter should start to ribbon off of your spatula and sink back into the mixture. If you pick it up right now, it's still kind of sticking and it's staying on top of the batter. It's not quite ready. Just keep giving it a few more folds and check it every once in a while. See how it's staying in place like this? It's nowhere near ready and you're going to need to do some more folding. If you tried to pipe them as they are, they'd be undermixed and it wouldn't be the end of the world. They'll actually taste pretty good and they'd be nice full shells. They just wouldn't be as pretty. So every few folds, or maybe every 1 fold if you're new to this, just check it and see if it's sinking back into the batter. It should really start to ribbon off of your spatula when it's getting close. At this point, you may want to stop and count to 10 and see if it sinks back into your batter. If not, give it another turn and check again. Well, it's not sinking back in, so I'm going to give it another fold and I'm going to try it again. And I think it's getting really close at this point, so I'm going to count to 30 and see if it sinks back in. If it doesn't sink back in within 30 seconds, I'm going to give it another fold. Now look how nice it's starting to ribbon off. At this point, you are really close. If you're a beginner, you could stop right here and you would have really nice looking macarons and nice full shells. We're going to give it yet another turn and we're going to check it once more. See if it sinks back into the batter. And see how it's starting to really slowly sink back in that batter? It is ready. By the time you get this into your piping bag and you start piping it out, it's going to be the perfect consistency. So I like to squish the batter down into the bag, give the top of the bag a few twists, and then see how it's locked into place because we did that little twist at the top. Then holding the bag vertically, squeeze it gently but firmly about 3 to 5 seconds and then let go and move on to the next circle. You just want to space these as evenly apart as possible if you don't have a guide to go by. You get better at this as you go. At first you might have some wonky looking shells and they might be misshapen. It's okay, they still taste wonderful. As you are piping these out, you should notice that the top ones are settling back into the batter, and that's how you know you made the perfect macaron. If the batter is not settling in, you can give the bottom of the tray a couple of whacks and it will settle out the batter. You want to let these rest until they are dry to the touch. That can take anywhere from 15 minutes to 2 hours or longer depending on how humid your climate is. You should be able to touch them and the batter shouldn't stick to your finger. You should actually be able to pat them and they should feel dry. You want to preheat your oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees Celsius and bake them 18 to 20 minutes or until they are done. And then you just want to remove them from your tray and let them cool on a cooling rack. After they've cooled, match up your shells so they are uniform in size. Next, we're going to move on to making a buttercream. We have a 1/4 cup of softened butter, 56 grams, and then we are going to use our lime zest from earlier. It's about a teaspoon or 2 grams worth. It doesn't matter if your lime gave a little bit more or a little bit less, it's okay. Mix that until it's well combined, and then you're going to add in 3/4 of a cup of powdered sugar or 100 grams. At this point it's a pretty good consistency, but we want to make it really taste like lime, so we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of lime juice, about 5 milliliters. Then you just want to put it in a piping bag and you want to pipe your macarons, leaving a little bit of space around the edges so that when you put the cookies together it doesn't all smush out on the sides. It'll be about a 1/2 teaspoon's worth of filling. Once you have these all piped out, you just want to place them together gently and you should have this nice little buttercream filling. You can add more buttercream if you want to, but they shouldn't be overpowering. These are pretty sweet and you don't want too many. When you open one of these up, they should be nice and full, and then when you push on them, they should give away just slightly. If you put too much buttercream in, when you push down on them, see how it all just smushes out on the side? That's why I suggest that you put less buttercream in, because you don't want a mess when you're eating these cookies. Or maybe you do and you don't mind. It's up to you. Maggie is wondering where her macaron is and she's telling me to hurry up. Look at that face. Isn't she adorable? I didn't even know she was doing this when I was putting them away. And I feel so bad because she was just like really cute asking for a macaron. She is the happiest dog when she gets to eat one of these. And without further ado, here is Macaron Maggie trying out the recipe. I think she approves. Even Raymond can't wait. Lime is his absolute favorite and he's here ready to try out any that I'm willing to give him. Don't I have the cutest puppies in the world? Well, that's how you make lime macarons. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.